Hey everybody, this is Perch. You got a mail here. It's a response video to a response to a video. It's a video response to a video is what we've got here. That's why not? It's a snake eating its own tail. This video is where I was talking about money that movies were making, and in particular, and I don't know. I mean, look, give me some guidance there in the comments. Do you want facts around this, or are we dealing with emotion? Because either is fine. It's totally fine, but it doesn't become fine when emotions are become facts. When basically people try to pass off their emotions as facts. You can hate something. You could dislike something. You dislike it for any reason. One of the big, I think, crappy things that has happened to our society is this attitude that you have to justify what you like or dislike. If you dislike something for the wrong reasons, or if you dislike something popular, then you are a bigot in some cases, or whatever, or any of it. I mean, it it was never meant to be that way. You know, you can watch a movie about an Afghanistan soldier, and that doesn't immediately make you a Republican, a conservative, or anything of those types. You can enjoy these movies because they're just good movies. Similarly, I recommended. I've watched Upload. It's a light, breezy kind of sitcom-y series. I enjoy it. I think people do a good job with it. Is it a masterpiece? No, but I enjoyed it. I found it was a good series. I recommended it to a friend. Friend watched it. In the first episode, in a completely irrelevant moment, one of the characters basically discovers his neighbors, who I don't believe ever see again. It is a 90-second scene as they're talking, and I'm not going to give away what the thing's about, but anyway, the neighbors are gay. There's two guys who are gay. We're talking to the star of the show, a man. There is no talk about, hey, come on over here and be gay with us, anything like that. It is a quiet, quick scene. It was too much for my friend. My friend's like, nope, I'm not going to consume things that are part of the woke agenda. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Seriously. Again, in my opinion, you've gone off the deep end at this point. But hey, you do you. If this is what's going to trigger you, if you're going to crash out because of this scene, then all right, you steer toward other things. But that's not what I want out of my entertainment. Are there websites out there right now? I'm sure there are that carefully assess and analyze, like this movie. At one point, there's a scene with what appears to be a gay couple walking holding hands. They don't have any speaking roles, but they're in the back. We give this a 4.5 out of 10 trigger rating for people who don't want to see gay people in movies. So steer clear of this one. On the other hand, here's this other movie. It has no gay people. And if you're going to get triggered because it has no gay people, and then steer clear of this one. This one has a 7.8 on the straight meter, meaning, might trigger you if you must. I mean, fuck, what kind of world is that? That is a crazy world. But anyway, there we go. But I mean, just, it is fine to dislike things for whatever irrational reason or rational reason, or whatever is in your head. You don't like, you don't like Henry Styles, and they used Henry Styles in a post-credit scene to the Eternals and up till that point, that movie was the best movie you had ever seen, but then you saw Styles and you can't take it anymore and you're done. I thought that movie was terrible, The Eternals. It was not made worse when Henry Styles appeared. Harry Styles. What am I doing? I don't like Harry Styles. But anyway, that was like, I didn't walk out of the movie going, well, either way, it was saved because he got Styles at the end there, or it was ruined because he had him. Anyway, let's read this mail. Dear Perch, your recent video on how movies have a lot more revenue streams to make money on than just box office run reminds me of an interesting factoid. Man of Steel recouped most of its budget from promotions it did before it even came out, and it looks to be the same for the Fantastic Four. And in quite a few movies, by the way. And to be clear, a lot of these are future guarantees. So it's not always clear. It's not always clear cut. And I don't have the exact specifics on Man of Steel, but yes, that was the rumor. I don't know if it accomplished that goal or got close to that goal, but a ton of the revenue, which people often kind of trivialize as back end revenue, even though some of it is promotional revenue that comes up front before the movie's even aired. Anyway, that movie made a ton of money before a single person walked into the theater. And it helps. Fantastic Four did too. Not nearly as much as Man of Steel, from what I gather, but quite a bit. You can sell the rights to things. Now, again, people can void contracts, they can get out of stuff, but they typically don't. And again, I could tell you from inside sources, but you don't have to believe me, because you can actually, when it comes out, you'll have to not believe me now and then look later for proof. But the annual report will come out, and unlike comic books, things like advanced deals and other things do show up by law in the annual report. They have for many, many, many years. A movie that made a decent amount of money ahead of time, Ant-Man Quantumania. Yeah, that one. That was not a good movie. But it actually made a lot more money than you think. If you cast your memory back, do you remember before that movie came out, there was tie-ins? I saw like a fast food place actually did a tie-in to that movie. There was a couple other things that did that they bought into that. I remember thinking at the time, like, who the hell is, doing a promotion on Ant-Man 3 in your restaurant? But whatever. But yeah, it had a weirdly strong amount of that stuff. Sometimes when movies are projected to be bad, or people are nervous about them, or they've spent a ton of money on their budget. Another one in the same vein that didn't fully realize it all was Birds of Prey. It's another movie that sold off a lot of stuff in advance. Now, you may be listening to this going, yeah, but Perch, it's tickets, it's butts in seats, it's people are going to see the movie. Yes, that's one criteria. But I thought the criteria we were talking about was whether something was a flop or not, whether it made money. In other words, as an investment, did it make money? And yeah, there's other factors to consider. Yes. I mentioned somebody's like, fat Perch, but yeah, if you're going to split hairs. No, it's not splitting hairs. It's money. You don't just get to pick and choose what money you want to accept or not accept based on if you like the movie or not. And also, I'll say for the 5,000th time, just like or hate the movie, for fuck's sake. You don't have to. I've used this example a million times. I like David Lynch movies. None of them made much money. None. And if you go out right now and you watch Elephant Man, 9 out of 10 of you are going to hate that movie. Hate it. I liked it. You hating it doesn't make me like it less, but I do find it weird when people who hate things really, really badly need other people to hate things. That's the weird part. I'm not getting into all the YouTube drama around who's doing what, who's faking what, or any of that other stuff. I'm just saying the one thing I do know is there are people out there who hate stuff and are not satisfied unless you hate it too. And that's the only point where I'm like, I'm getting off this train. I'm going to like what I like. Maybe this is the Gen X in me. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me to hate something. You can't tell me to like something. At the end. Anyway, back to this money. Regarding Fantastic Four promotions, it reportedly had $170 million in promotions, including the Little Caesars tie-in, among others. So with its box office run and promotions, among other things, it's safe to say this film is in the black. I can say definitively it is. It absolutely is. Now, again, you could tally all this stuff up. The crazy part is a lot of this information is public information. You can go do it. You can actually go to ChatGPT and say, what are all the public contracts we know of and how much money has come in? You get a remarkable amount of information. Just from that alone, you will get enough information to confirm it's in the black. But if you still don't believe any of that stuff, by all means, again, the annual report will spell this out for you. Disney is a public company. Yeah, but Perch, I can lie on the annual report. Yeah, and then they go to jail. You'll be fined and sued into existence. You can do dodgy financial accounting things. People have done it. If they get caught, you get absolutely fucked. Anyway. I also don't think Sony views Morbius, or Madam Web as flops either. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It would be easier to view those as failures. But they didn't make enough money at the box office to justify making more of them. Both streaming deals from Netflix and Disney Plus, along with airline stuff. My dad watched Madam Web on American Airlines flight, for example. Man, the only thing worse than an American Airlines flight would be an American Airlines flight watching Madam Web. I'm just saying. Anyway, I think a better way for a layperson to view the box office regarding films would be for justifying if a movie gets a sequel. The Marvels bombed theatrically. I doubt we'll be seeing another Captain Marvel film for a decade or so. Also, I remember the Matt Damon quote of the DVD was a big part of our business. Our revenue stream and technology has just made that obsolete. That is true. Although a lot of the streaming deals and stuff people are cutting wind up, it makes different people more money, if that makes any sense. A lot of deals were made with the DVDs that cut people in. And the studios were always like, man, I wish I didn't have to pay those people. And then when the streaming deals came along, like, and here's our chance. And anyway, contracts changed. I bring it up because a lot of films that we now call classics bombed in the theatrical run, but ended up making a profit because of DVD sales and other ways. Was it Wild Things? Denise Richards in that movie? That movie bombed in the theater, as I recall. I just remember, a flop for Denise Richards because people cared about that once upon a time. But that DVD did real well, and it did well on Blu-ray. Blu-ray is just coming in, and people are buying the Blu-ray because they really, really, really want to, still frame parts of that movie. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, I think with their appearances in next Avengers films, it'll get the masses more familiar with the FF than that we will get a sequel. I'm sure we'll get an FF sequel. I'm sure we will. Though I wonder who the villain would be. Maybe Annihilus and have Blastar there as well. Oh, fuck. We could only hope. I would be so happy if we got a big budget, Negative Zone Fantastic Four film with Annihilus and some real crazy Jack Kirby level crap in there. That would just make my day. So please, let me have that. Just let me have that. Anyway, I think after Doom and Galactus, that's probably the biggest thing they could do villain-wise besides doing something smaller scale. Though maybe a small scale would get better and have them fight the Frightful Four. The Frightful Four could be a big threat if they did it. But I would lay some of the seeds in the second one and do that one for the third. But whatever. We'll see. Sorry for a disjointed mail. No, it wasn't disjointed at all. I'll conclude this with kind of what I said earlier. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. You could like it, you could hate it, but unless you're a shareholder, this is kind of just a crazy intellectual exercise. And the problem I have with it, I guess, is that, and it's a different problem from what I've heard others say. It's a different way. People are like, oh, you and Zach are bitching about movies. No, I think we have very, very different. I don't know, but I think we have very different perspectives on where the business sits and everything else. But for me, it comes down to completeness. If you're going to get into this, then you got to get all in. You can't just do a little bit of it and then go, well, I don't need to pay attention to those other parts. Like you said in your mail, there are advanced deals, there's promotional tie-ins, there's tax write-offs, there's a million pieces to this business. So if you're going to say, I am the judge of whether a movie made money or not financially, then you gotta give this complete picture. Otherwise, you're just spreading nonsense. But all of that is avoidable if you just it basically all you have to do is say, I watched this movie, it sucked ass. It is terrible. I hated it. It's one of the worst films ever. That's all subjective. You could do that forever. But the second you're like, and it's the lowest money making movie in the history of all movies. All right, now you just threw out a fact that is wrong. But nobody needed that. That's a stupid part of all this. It's useless. Nobody needs to go there. Well, the vast majority of people are entirely comfortable with it sucked. The end. Anyway, thanks for listening.